Good morning. Welcome to Transforming Soul Walk. Yesterday we were talking about making changes in our lives, and I finish off by saying that when you make changes in life, you can feel some resistance. You can feel a resistance within yourself. You can also feel a resistance from outside yourself. Because when you change something in your life, everything changes. And other people will sort of being forced to change as well, together with you, because if you change your behavior, when in relationship with other people, we have certain roles and parts in everyone's life, and when you change your behavior, your role will also change. Let's say that you I'm trying to find an example right now. If the people around you are used to you just being a follower and not really have an opinion on your life, or doesn't really have an opinion on them, the way they talk, the way they, a good example is, let's take, for example, you know that you're gay, but you've been brought up in a family that are homophobes, and you're really scared to come out and live your truth and be yourself, because you know everything will shift. You don't know if you're going to be abandoned by your family or your friends or your colleagues, but you decide that this is something I really have to do. I have to live as me, who I am, because otherwise, I'm dead in my soul, and then I could just lie down in the grave, And this person comes out. It calls a reaction from everyone. Everything changes. And so the family needs to change the way they talk, the way they act, and that's the same thing when you change your behavior or you change a part of you that everyone is used to. Oh, look at this. Try to remember what they're called in English. Look. Hey, little friend. Hi, you're so cute. I have a brain fart right now. It's not a porcupine, because they are huge. Hey, cutie pie. Look. Yeah, you're so cute. Wow. Oh, I love nature, love animals. Anyway, and that's also why people fall back and they don't do the changes they need to do, because they're scared of the resistance from family members or what needs to be changed. They're scared of being abandoned. What if they don't accept me for who I am right now? And good morning. And maybe they won't accept me for who I am right now and what I'm changing into, and they don't want to change. they want you to stay in that little box that you've been in because it's convenient for them. It's convenient for them because they don't want to change. Because they don't want to change their behavior towards you or the way your life has been so far. And that's a fear I felt also last year when I knew that I needed to go back to the tools and who I was before I met Ian, and the parts that I felt that I had sort of left behind. Let's see if it's really crowded here. No, we'll walk in here. I was scared that he was that he wouldn't love me the same way. I was scared that he wouldn't accept me for who I am. I was scared that since we have a bit of a different view of spirituality, that he would feel that it is too much. He can't have a partner that believes in what I believe or need that in her life. But I just knew that I had to make these changes because I wasn't happy, because I wasn't myself. And I want to be happy, and happy is to be content, living the life that you want and living the life that you feel that you're supposed to live. That's being happy. So I needed to do these changes, and I did. He's still here, and I'm still here. I haven't left him either, because slowly things are changing. Certain things are still the same. Certain things I need to continue changing. But take one step at a time. Look at the things that feels more urgent, the things that are really painful, that is really holding you back, that is, and you know it. I just heard my inner voice say, but what if you don't know what you need to change? But you do know, because if you go into the silence, and when I mean silence, it's if you take just 10 minutes out of your day, you have 10 minutes, because you can binge watch Netflix for hours. So you do have 10 minutes every day, and you take yourself somewhere where you can sit in silence, meditate, or just be quiet. Well, it is meditation. And just sit in your silence and start listening to your soul. What does your soul tell you? Because after a while, you will hear your inner voice, and you will hear what you need to change, and you will feel and know what you need to change. Because around that knowledge comes fear. As soon as I knew what I needed to change, the fear just came right along with it. What if he leaves me? What if I feel I have to leave him? What if these people won't like me anymore? What if people will think I'm crazy? What if? And that's the same thing with my business now. I've been a public speaker and a public educator for 20-something years. Educating in LGBTQI plus rights, and especially transgender rights. And yeah, I've done it for more than 20 years now. And this past spring, well, it actually started last year, but I didn't really listen to it then. But since this year, at New Year's Eve, I decided to not have any goals for this year except for listening. I felt I was on a move, a path for something new. Look how beautiful. Yeah, it's gorgeous here. I knew that I was heading for something new, and I just told myself that I was going to be completely open and just listen and let the universe lead me to where I was supposed to go. And during the spring, I started to feel more and more that I didn't really want to leave, or maybe I'm saying that out of fear, actually. Being a public speaker and educator when it comes to transgender rights and the LGBTQI plus rights. But I wanted to head in a new direction. And I guess when I started studying psychology, it was basically for that business, in order to help young children and teenagers with anxiety and depression that was part of this community, because there are not so many psychiatrists out there that knows and what it's like to be transgender or have experience of this and doesn't have the knowledge that I have. Because mine is different, and well, not different, it's a little bit more unique, and so that's why I started studying psychology, because that's what I thought I was going to do with it. But when I've been studying this, I've sort of felt that another calling on me, and in helping other people with their mental health and changing their lives and live in a more mindful way. I've stopped because there is a trash car down there. He makes a lot of noise right now. I'm just gonna let him pass. But anyway, so I started to feel a new calling, and I'm telling you, last week, just 2 weeks ago, I had sort of a bit of a crisis where my fear, I gave it a little bit too much of space in my head, and where it was telling me that, no, this is crazy. Everybody's gonna think you're crazy. You have a solid business in this. They're not gonna take you for real anymore. You're not gonna get any business. You're gonna fail this. They're gonna mock you, laugh at you, all of it. It just, and I sat there and I was crying and I felt like a loser, and what I do now, because I've changed a lot of things in my life, just because I know who I am and I'm sort of solid in who I am, I still have days like everybody else where fear gets a bigger space in my head and my heart, and or I wake up and I have a fucking crappy day and it's hard to snap out of it. The difference from me now and then is that I have tools to help me to snap out of it, to help me shift my focus, to help me in all these ways. And that's what my program, the Transforming Soul Walk program, that's what that's gonna do to you and help you with, is to give you these tools. So when you fall into a pity party, or when you let fear completely oversound everything in your heart and your mind, you're going to have tools to be able to choose to snap out of it. And I have different tools to do that. one tool was learned by one of my soul women, and Elizabeth Gilbert. She writes letters from love, and she's done that for more than 20 years. Oh, he's here again. I think I need to go out on the beach again. Yeah. Anyway, so she writes letters from love, and what does that mean? Well, I call her my inner voice, because my inner voice is just love. And so if someone really, really, really loves you, what do you think that person would tell you in despair, in fear? All right, let's see, so I don't get run over by a bike. All right. See, this is something I would love to do one day, but I'm too scared. Talking about fear. They have this sort of workout spot on the beach. I was actually thinking about it this morning, that if someone is here working out, maybe I should just ask them, say, hey, what is the best way right here to work to get a smaller belly, get all the belly fat gone? But no one's here now. Anyway, I'm walking down back on the beach. Oh, sorry, rabbit. Anyway, so she writes a love letter from her inner love, from her inner self, that if she has a fear, if she's dealing with something, or, well, she does it every day, so I don't know how she starts them, but you can start them and say, you know, in your head first, good morning, love, what do you want to tell me or show me, or, you know, and then you just listen, and you will hear the voice, and you just start writing whatever it says. But also what she's taught me is to give space for fear as well. And so when I really get sort of controlled by this fear, which I was that time a few weeks ago, I was just crying, and I was so sad, and I gave up all my space to fear. I sat down with pen and paper, and then you give space for fear. Write everything down that fear wants to tell you. And when you feel that it's enough, fear has had his, or her in my case, because she lives in me. When fear has told me everything she wants to tell me, then you say or write, thank you for your input. Right now, I'm gonna let love come in and tell me her piece, and you just need to be quiet now. You cannot interrupt, because now it's love's time. And then I let love write her piece based on what fear has told me. And by the end of that letter or that speech from love, something has shifted inside of you. It is so much harder to go back to and lean into what fear tells you. It's easier to lean into what love tells you, especially if you practice this over and over and over again. So that is one tool that is amazing, and I'm grateful for that one, because it makes me snap out of it almost immediately and shift my brain, shift everything inside of me. So back to resistance. Well, there are different ways to handle resistance. Sometimes you can just bulldoze through it because it's so important. Or you need to sit down and make a decision. Can I have a conversation with the people that I think is going to have a problem with my change, or the people that will be affected by it the most? Can I tell them about my fears? Can I tell them what I need from them? Am I willing to actually, maybe not forever, but for a while, actually step out away from them? Because sometimes you do need to sort of break up with people or take a pause. I think a lot of parents to children, transgender children, or children that are part of the LGBTQ community will know exactly what I'm talking about. That if the family members don't accept your child and keep mispronouncing, like saying the wrong pronoun or the old name, and not respecting the child and the child's decision of a new pronoun or decision of a new name, you can't let that happen. You need to sort of set boundaries and tell your family that either you change or we can't be part of your life until you just understand that you need to change. And that is such a fear. I used to tell this to both transgender teenagers, but also adults, that, the other way around. I used to tell parents and family members and schools when I've been educating that these kids and adults that have been living in secrecy, they're so scared because they know that there is a risk. Oh, I love when the boat comes in the morning. They're scared that they're going to lose their family members, that they're going to be all by themselves, left alone, not having anyone loving them for who they are. And it's the same in everything in life. I think we're all scared of abandonment and not being loved and accepted for who we are. So, but sometimes you need to actually leave or take a pause from people in order for you to absolutely do the changes, and to follow through and be able to lean in more to your changes that you need to do. And so sometimes it's not forever, but sometimes it is. But then, if someone doesn't want you to be yourself and doesn't accept you for who you are and can't love you for who you are, well, that's not a person that should be in your life. So it's painful when you realize that, but it's also freedom, because that means that wasn't a true person for you. So the resistance will come in different ways, in different strengths, but you can follow through. You can change, even though it's resistance. And you just need to sit down and see, what is the resistance? Why is the resistance? And how can I walk through the resistance? What do I need to do? What do I need to change? What boundaries do I need to set? And just treat yourself with love through the whole thing, because this is really important. If someone can't love you for who you are, or if someone can't walk with you, holding your hand through your changes, or if someone can't respect your changes or understand them, it is never about you. It is always about them. Let's see here. But so I think that is really, really, really important to really understand that. It's never about you, it's about them. It's about their fear. I had this conversation once with a transgender woman that was going through a lot of trauma and anxiety and depression, and her family members had a hard time accepting her, and she was so angry. She was so angry, and she was sort of demanding, like, I remember she posted, what was it again? I refuse you. What was it? Gosh, I don't really remember, but I remember she said, I refuse you, blah, blah, blah. And I talked to her, and we had a conversation about it, and I said, listen, you got to understand that they are scared. Their resistance is not about you, it's about them. Because when we have our children, automatically, without really thinking about it, we sort of create a future around them, our own hopes and dreams, because we're fed both with images and culture of, you know, if you have a daughter, I take a stereotypical, hey, good morning. That's a crow. When you have a baby girl and you're like, wow, when she grow up, you sort of long for her wedding, go and dress hunting and watch her, and then become a grandmother, or, you know, all these things. You have hopes and dreams that is part of your hopes and dreams with this child. And then when everything changes, you need to shift your thoughts, and you also get aware of your thoughts. And sometimes other can sort of follow in really fast, but some can't, because they're so stuck in their own images and their own dreams and wish list that they've had. So, but anyway, so I told her, what you can do, instead of saying, I forbid you, or I refuse you, because that only creates, that is like slamming a door. Say, fuck you, you know? But if you do want them to hold your hand through whatever you go through, you need to have the door open. And instead of saying, I refuse you, I forbid you, ask them instead, what is your greatest fear about this? Because that's what it's all about. It's fear. It's fear about what other people will say. It's fear about, what if someone's going to hurt my child? There's a fear of, want to become a grandmother? There are fears. There's so many fears. And so ask instead, what are your greatest fears with whatever it is? Because then you open up the door for communication, and for your family members or whoever to actually take your hand and walk together with you through the changes. So that's important too. You need to keep an open heart. and understanding that the other person might be walking in fear for your changes. Wait a minute, low battery. Well, I'm almost home, so if you feel resistance from people around you, you can actually start out by saying that. What is your greatest fear with me changing right now? Changing this in my life? And then you'll understand. And then it opens up a door and you can hold that person's hand while you continue with your changes. And it might actually help them to change alongside with you. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to stop here. I'm almost home. Everybody's waking up. Traffic is starting to be more frequent here on the road. Thank you for this morning. And, you know, I would love to get some feedback. What touched you the most about this soul talk today? What moved you, or what was most important thing you heard today in this soul talk? And please write it down below so I get some feedback. And yeah, I'm wishing you an absolutely amazing day, a wonderful day. I know I will. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. I guess it's going to be the beach tomorrow, and I'm going to bring a towel because I'm going to take a little dip in the sea tomorrow. Love you all. Puss, kisses and hugs. Bye-bye. Puss, le puss.